Well, hello there, and welcome to this week's broadcast. I am Anne LaFollette, and I am an online educator and surface pattern designer. And today I want to talk about step number 4 in my mini-series called From Vision to Execution. So I also just want to apologize in advance if the sound quality is not that good right now. I am in my garage filming this today, and I don't have a carpet on the floor yet. We haven't actually painted the walls. We're going to do a little bit of a refresh on the garage space, and it's work in process. So I hope that it doesn't sound too tinny and that you will bear with me for the next couple of weeks until the garage is finished. I'm excited to have a creative studio space, and I will share all of the behind the scenes of the process with you in a few weeks. But today's topic is all about step number 4 in my 5-step process from vision to execution. Now, if you've missed the mini-series, just go to annelafolletteart.com/blog and you can catch up there really easily. Or since you're right here on YouTube, just watch the other videos in the series that I've been broadcasting for the past several weeks. Now, you've got your vision in place. You spent time actually defining 3 big goals and making those goals SMART. Then you actually spend some additional time with me getting into your key assumptions around time and resources, which was what we did last week. And so this week is really fun because we're going to move to the wall calendar and we're going to play with our Post-it notes. Now, I love office supplies, and this is probably more Post-it notes than you're going to need. But one of the key things about Post-it notes, and I will leave a link to my favorite pack in the description below this video, but it's important to have a bunch of different sizes and a bunch of different colors. And the reason for that is because you are going to, in this next step, actually pick a color for each one of your goals. Then you're going to write down all of the tasks that you defined during the SMART process that we went through 2 weeks ago. And you're going to write each one of those tasks down on a Post-it note in the appropriate color. So let me give you an example. If you are working on your website, then let's say you're going to have everything on your calendar that is associated with your website in blue. You then want to write out on your Post-it notes, and now you might want to use one that looks like this, or you might want to use one that looks like this, that's a square, But all of the tasks that are associated with building your website, you're going to want to have in that same color. And then you're going to move on to the second goal, and then pick a different color and put all of the tasks in that color. So you get the picture, right? It's not very complicated, but it's going to be super, super helpful to have everything color-coded. Now, once you've written out all the tasks, then you're going to walk over to the wall calendar. Now, you might have one that looks like this, which is a year at a glance, or you might have one that looks more like this, where I am just showing you 3 months in my year. Either one of these is great. Pick whatever works for you, but the idea is for you to then take your Post-it notes and place them on the calendar. And this is going to be an iterative process. So one of the great things, and kind of my pro tip about using Post-it notes, is that it takes the fear of the blank page away. Because you're not actually writing anything on the calendar yet. You actually are putting the Post-its up so that you're going to be able to step back, take a look, move them around, and definitely not fear getting started. So once you've done your first pass, I want you to step back. I want you to take a look at the calendar and see what you see. There's some key questions I want you to ask. One would be, does it look like too many things are kind of grouped together so that you might not actually be able to accomplish them in that time frame? That's one thing to look out for, and when you do a second pass, spread things out some more. The second question I would have you ask is, did you make sure that you included like family activities, maybe some road trips you might be doing? I know that we're all still more or less sheltering in place, but there has been a little bit more reopening happening recently, so you might really want to take a road trip with your family, or you might want to go on a road trip just to get out of your house. So make sure that you've blocked that out on the calendar so that you're giving yourself that time to not be working and to refresh. Then also take a look and see whether or not you've kind of prioritized things. So are there certain activities that can happen in parallel with one another, or are a lot of the activities kind of you have to do step 1 first, then you do step 2, then you move on to step 3. So once you've asked yourself those questions, now go back up to the calendar and start making some adjustments. The beauty of doing it this way is that you will end up with a great roadmap that will turn into a daily action plan. And step 5 is your daily execution. But before we get there, it's very important to spend some time here iterating and realizing what sequence is going to work the best. This will help you also prioritize your goals, which one looks like it could be knocked off fastest maybe, or are you the type of person who would much rather attack the hardest goal first and spend a good amount of time accomplishing everything you need to accomplish specific to that one goal? Or are you more of a multitasker or a multi-passionate person who likes to work on multiple goals at once? There is no wrong answer, and the ability to actually do it through this Post-it note exercise gives you the freedom to move things around and not feel like you're really ever going to be stuck. I think I mentioned this before in an earlier video, but one of the things that was really beautiful about this approach for me in 2020, like right now, especially given the fact that we are now I'm recording this in early August, but basically COVID kind of locked us all down in early March, is I had my entire calendar planned out, but I'd never written it down on the calendar itself. It was still all Post-it notes. So when I needed to start to make some adjustments because of COVID-19, I was able to do so pretty seamlessly and pretty smoothly by just going back up to my calendar and saying, well, that trip's not going to happen, so I can take it off and move some additional things around. So this is really a fun part of the exercise, and it's a really fun part of the process. Of course, I'm a huge office supply fan, so that also makes it really fun for me, but I hope that you will find it really fun too. So go ahead and follow these steps and you will be totally set up for success for the last step in the process that we'll cover next week, that's called daily execution. Now, if you enjoyed this broadcast, please hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to subscribe. Please mention this to any of your friends and colleagues who you think might enjoy it and get value from this mini-series called From Vision to Execution. And you know, I always like to say in closing that I am Emma Follett, and it's never too late to create. Bye for now, and I'll see you next week.